Den of Thieves. This movie stars Gerard, Butler, O'Shea Jackson Jr., 50 Cent, and Pablo Schreiber, and it is basically a crime heist movie that follows the story of two separate crews. One is a corrupt LA sheriff's department, and I say corrupt because they basically do they catch the bad guys but with very unethical ways, and the other is one of the biggest and smartest and best bank robbery crews in the world at the moment, I suppose. And they obviously cross paths because they're trying to do another heist, and their lives interject. Now, one thing I'd heard about this movie after coming out of it was that this movie was eerily similar to Heat with Al Pacino. Now, I have not seen that movie, so I cannot talk about the connections with that movie because I had not seen Heat before, so I cannot talk about things that were similar or weren't similar, or it was a rip-off of or anything like that. So I'm not going to talk about that from the get-go. So if you're expecting that, I'm not going to talk about that. But this movie actually surprised me. I have low expectations generally for action movies. I know it's a heist movie, but action movies I don't have great expectations because I generally don't like action movies. And seeing the cast of this movie, and this cast basically hailed as Gerard, Butler, and 50 Cent, I was like, if the movie's, Gerard Butler's good, doesn't necessarily do great films a lot of the time, and then you've got 50 Cent as your second big name, and I was a bit skeptical, but I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. I found a lot of enjoyment out of this movie. This movie is actually quite well done. It has some cool nightlife shots of LA. It has some really well done shots and some great action scenes in there as well. I think it does well in telling the story as a heist movie. You kind of learn these characters and you get behind them and you see what they do and where they're going, and you get invested. And I do prop them for doing that. And whenever they can get me to invest myself in these characters is always a good thing, because I was expecting to be like useless action movie stars that I'm just going to watch and blow shit up and rob banks. And it wasn't that. I actually kind of got invested in the story. They were really, the way they did tell the story with the way they were actually robbing the bank, stuff like that was very cool. I enjoyed that aspect of it, as well as the characters themselves. Now, saying that, the hardest bit of this movie, it was kind of to know who you're meant to be behind, because you've got, on one side, you've got a corrupt cop, Gerard Butler and his crew, and they're very thug-like, and they're a policeman, and he's having problems at home. He seems like a bad father and a bad husband. And on the other side, you've got a bunch of gangbangers that are killing policemen, that are doing the wrong thing, but they kind of seem like the nicer guys. And you look and you go, what am I meant to be doing here? Am I meant to be following these people or following these people? Because that's the whole thing of a movie. A movie, generally, you have a protagonist and an antagonist, and I didn't know which was which, and that was a big problem with me in this movie, was trying to know who I was trying to get behind. Being a generally nice person and not a thug, I got behind, as much as it was a corrupt cop, you get behind them trying to catch them, and that's what I did. But then my friend next to me said I was behind the robbers, and they were both bad guys. I went behind the police, went behind the robbers, so I didn't really know in that aspect what they were doing. Another problem with this movie, besides that, was the glaringly big problem for me. Another smaller problem was some of the times they do some things that were just unrealistic, that I was like, am I meant to be buying into this? And I did, because I wanted to invest myself in the movie, but I did question myself. Saying that, though, they're basically the flaws of this movie. Other than that, it is very enjoyable to watch. They have some great action scenes. They have some great dialogue scenes as well. You get a great story out of it. So I think it does a lot of aspects of the movie really, really well. They have an ending, a twist ending, I suppose you could say, as any majority of heist movies do. I did enjoy this ending. I think maybe they could have built on it a bit more. I think it kind of seemed not rushed, because they do explain it, but I feel like maybe hinting at it a bit more beforehand could have made it a bit more of an impactful, going, of course. Whereas this one, you went, okay, cool, I guess. But I can understand maybe if people don't get into the ending as well, because I think it's kind of a cop-out. But I did get behind this movie. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would, especially with what I was presented with through the name of the film and the actors and whatnot. Pablo Schreiber, by the way, I've never heard of him, and he was great in this movie. I definitely want to see him in more stuff. It could be Schreiber or Schreiber, I'm not sure, but he was pretty good in this movie, and I got behind him. He was the main you know, the main robber. So I really got behind his character as well, and I actually had a lot more fun with this movie than I was expecting to. I'm giving Den of Thieves a C+. Okay, thank you guys for watching my Den of Thieves review. This is one of my first 2018 reviews. Earlier on, I've done a few movies already. I think I've done 5 or 6 reviews, and a few of them have been 2017 movies, technicalities that haven't come out in Australia till now. This is actually a 2018 movie, so I'm glad to get one in that is actual one. But again, guys, thank you for watching. You guys can check out my other videos. I've done a bunch of Blu-ray videos lately, so check them out. But you guys can subscribe for more reviews if you're into that as well. Subscribe, as I just said. You can like, you can comment below what you thought of the video, what you thought of the movie. Whatever you guys want to talk about is fine by me, but of course, have a good one.